Hello, friends, and welcome. My name is Fairlee, and I will be your humble host for this new podcast, which I am affectionately calling Halfway Human House. You'll have to forgive me for being a little nervous. I've never really done anything like this before. Talk to people so openly, that is. See, to put it in simple terms, I am a cryptid. An immortal, to be specific, though I guess technically there's no real proof of that until I actually die. But given that I just turned 170 this past May, I feel pretty confident in that assumption. The point is, I exist. I'm a person, just like you or anyone else, and I'm tired of being unseen and unheard. I want the world to know I am here and I am real, and most importantly, I am not alone. I live in a house with one human, my friend Tony, and currently about a half dozen other so-called monsters of varying shapes, sizes, and backgrounds, all living here temporarily so they can feel safe for once, so they can stay somewhere with people like themselves. I mean, these are individuals whose very existence is seen as inhuman, impossible, wrong, even frightening. But we aren't frightening, and we're not monsters. We're just ourselves. So that's why I've decided to do this podcast. There's power in a voice, after all, and communication is a core part of how we connect to each other as humans, as people. I want the world to know that we mean no harm, that we aren't things that go bump in the night. We aren't campfire stories, just stories, and I think we're long overdue to be told. I haven't fully figured out the best method of speaking to you all yet. I say you all, but I suppose that's pretty optimistic. There's a chance no one will even hear this. But assuming someone does, I think I'm going to break each episode into two parts. One will be a sort of Q&A, an opportunity for you to send in things you've always wondered about us cryptids and for me to do my best to address them. And the other will be a story, plain and simple. Something I've experienced in my 170 years of life, old or new, and hopefully something that you'll enjoy listening to. I guess I should start with telling you a little bit more about myself. Well, I'm honestly not very interesting, in my opinion. Not like some of my friends, anyway. As cryptids go, I'm pretty plain. I look pretty average, except that my eyes are a little weird, and I don't have any superpowers or anything like that. Or, well, there is one thing. I can talk to frogs, but they're jerks and they all hate me anyway. But other than that, I'm just a human who for some reason has remained stuck at about 20 years old for almost 10 times that amount. I don't know why, and after a certain point I kinda stopped wondering. I figure, why look a gift horse in the mouth? I'm here, I may as well try to enjoy it and make the most of it for however long it lasts. I travel around a lot, or I used to, but currently I'm settled in here at Tony's house, and I've never really gotten to visit other countries before, so I've pretty much always been in the US. Which is fine, mostly, although I have always wanted to go to France or Japan or India, just to see the sights and experience other cultures. Plus, I love meeting people and swapping stories. Oh, and speaking of stories, I'd like to share one with you. Today, I'm going to tell you about the first movie I ever saw. Don't worry, it's not as boring as it sounds, I don't think. This was a really, really long time ago, so it wasn't quite like movies today. Do you know what a Nickelodeon is? Or rather, what it used to be? In the late 1800s to early 1900s, Nickelodeon was a sort of miniature movie theater, a storefront converted to allow visitors who couldn't afford more luxurious entertainment to watch short projected films for only a nickel. The buildings were usually a bit dingy and crowded, and some places would just have a single longer film playing on loop, and you would just go in at some point in the film and stay as long as you wanted. That was the case for the one I got to see. I was in New York, I think, and I actually didn't even have a nickel that day, so I snuck in when the film was about halfway through. But I managed to get the idea of the story anyway. I wish I remembered what it was called. Something about a rescue, I think. Anyway, I slipped in with the incoming crowd and managed to nab a seat from someone that was just leaving. It wasn't very comfortable, but I was so excited to see a real live motion picture that I didn't care. The scene was projected on a wall in black and white, but it looked so real at the time, like I could reach out and touch the people in the movie. I remember there was a group of men clamoring around a cliffside tree and a very upset-looking woman standing nearby. They tied a rope to the tree and lowered down one of the men to a small ledge on the cliffside. It was dangerously high up, and the landscape below him stretched out for miles. And suddenly, an eagle swooped in and attacked him, and he had to fight it off and kill it. He rescued a baby from the eagle's nest that it must have stolen, and the other men hoisted the two back up to safety, where the man and the woman, who must have been the parents, reunited with their baby as the rest of the group cheered in victory. It was thrilling. I was literally on the edge of my seat, and I wanted to watch it over and over again, but I got caught by one of the employees and was kicked out before I could. I don't even know if that film still exists anywhere, it was so long ago. Regardless, I remember it like it was yesterday. I don't always have the best memory, but things like that, new and wonderful experiences, always stick with me. I'll never forget being caught up in the story, however short it was, and feeling the excitement and tension and relief watching that baby being saved from meeting a terrible fate. I was a bit sad that the bird died, though, but I digress. I think the thing I loved the most, more than just the incredible advancement at the time in technology and entertainment, was the fact that we were all experiencing this story together, all feeling the same things, all equally immersed, just for a moment. The fiction of that film filled that small, dingy room, surrounding us until it wasn't fiction anymore, until we all believed temporarily that the baby was really in danger, and that the man was really fighting off a wild animal to rescue them, and best of all, that we were really right there to see it all happen. The struggle, the victory, the celebratory aftermath. The experience was the best part, better than the film itself, and I think maybe that, in part, was what sparked my love of stories, and my desire to tell you mine. There's so very many kinds of stories, and so many ways to tell them, that I couldn't possibly list them all in this episode, or even in all of my future episodes, but I adore them all. Smarter folks than me have spoken at length about how essential storytelling is to humanity, I'm sure, but if I may attempt to summarize, I think it all comes down to connection. I know I mentioned it earlier, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I really do feel that the way we as people communicate with each other, in any form, stems from a desire to connect with and understand each other better. We want to know each other on a deeper level, to see ourselves in others and let them see themselves in us. We want to dip our toes into the lives of others just for a moment and experience what we normally could not. There is an innate desire in all of us deep down to know and be known, and it can be beautiful or frightening, or for some it can feel like nothing at all, just a part of the routine, but it's still there in everyone to some degree. It's ironic, really. Our need to connect is what connects us, because we all have it in common. I'm rambling, aren't I? Sorry. My friends always tell me not to do that. It's a bit of a bad habit of mine, and I don't want to bore you or annoy you, whoever you are out there. My point is, I'm really looking forward to sharing my stories with you, with anyone who will listen, really, and I hope it can make a difference. I believe it can. I just need to try. If anyone hears this, thank you so much for listening to my very first episode of this show. It really means the world to me, and I hope you'll stick around for more. Please feel free to send in questions for me if you have them. I'll answer as many as I can, and honestly, even if you just want to say hi, that'd be really nice too. I love hearing from new people. It's been lovely talking to you, friends. See you next time. Halfway Human House is written and produced by Max Teachout. The voice of Fairlee is Max Teachout. The theme song is Ukulelean by Gideon Freudmann of CelloBop Music, with additional songs also by Gideon Freudmann. To stay updated on future episodes, follow us on Instagram at Halfway Human House or subscribe on YouTube, and consider supporting the show on Patreon for exclusive bonus content. If you have a question you'd like Fairlee to answer in a future episode, leave it in the comments below, or send an email to halfwayhumanhouse@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.